Today is Saturday, August 13th, 2022. It is also day 390 of web development. And today I'm just going to do a landing page using this image because I really like it as a background. So I'll start with my doc type, and basically what this says is I'm writing in HTML5. So then I'll put in my HTML tags, and then inside the HTML tags there's always going to be two main tags. So that's going to be the head tags and the body tags. And so the head tags is basically any like back-end information that your computer needs to know, like what characters are they using, like the language that they're interpreting, like any external links or references that they need to get, and then the body is basically everything you put in the body is what you're going to see on the screen. So the only head tag that I use so far right now, just to put it in practice, is the meta tag, and specifically the name set to viewport. And so the width of the content of the viewport, I need to set that equal to the device width. So the width of the device that you're using with an initial scale equals to 1.0. And basically what that does is just that, let's say you're on your phone, instead of looking at the desktop version of my site, you're going to end up looking at the mobile version of my site, and it allows for responsiveness. Okay, and then finally for the body tag, I always start with a div and I label it with the class container. And then I'll go ahead in my CSS and target the container using a dot notation because classes are targeted with dots. And I'll just give it a border property, and then the values 5 pixels, solid black. So it's going to be a 5 pixel thickness solid. So it means it's going to be, a solid line. It's not going to be dotted or anything else. And it's going to be a black line. All right. And then I'm also going to give it a height of 100 vertical height of the screen so that it takes up 100 of the vertical height of the screen. And then I'm going to use the star selector. I'm going to use the star selector to basically select everything, and I'm just going to zero out any margin and padding that there are by default, because it usually happens where there's browsers that have like default margin and padding. And then something that I've been practicing to do is setting this box sizing property to border box. I still have to explore that, but yeah. Okay, and then back over here, so inside the container, I'm just going to have a div class. I'm going to have a showcase, which is going to contain the background image and obviously some content. So in here, I'll put in div class content. And then inside the content, it's just going to be like an H1, and it's going to be like turn or make fiction into reality or something like that. That's not how you spell reality. Okay. And then end that tag, and then maybe caps lock over here. Make fiction into reality, so something like that. And then let's do a button. So an A tag, href that leads to nowhere. I'm going to call it button for now, and then end that tag there. And so that's kind of the only HTML text that I have here. And then along with the showcase, I'm also going to have a header inside my container, and that header is just going to contain the nav bar. So at this point, I might as well just do div class and then nav bar. And then let's see, I'll do, call it nav bar, and inside it's going to be an unordered list. So that's going to be UL. Unordered list is basically a list with bullet points, while an OL, which is an ordered list, is a list with numbers. And so each list has a list item, and then I want each list item to be a link. And so within the LI tags, I'm going to put an A tag. So that leads to basically nowhere. So that's what a hashtag means. And then I'm just going to say like link and end that. And then I'm going to go and copy that a few more times, maybe about 4 times. All right, and that's it for the HTML. Now onto the CSS, which brings life and style onto the site. So for the showcase, I'm just going to target the showcase real quick, and I'm going to give the image because that's kind of the main part of here. So I'm going to use the background URL, and I'm just going to right-click, copy image address. This is linked in down below in my logs. And then I'll make sure that it has a height of 100% of the container that it's in, and also a width of 100% of the container that it's currently in. All right, and then also I'll do background size cover, and I'll also, oh, okay. And then I'll also do, actually maybe I'll just leave it like that. I think that's fine. All right, and then I'll save that and open it in debug mode so we could look at it in like desktop version. So this is what I have so far. So clearly I have a problem at the top. I have this like big blank space, and that's actually the header. And so I don't want the header to be, you know, mixing with the showcase, because they're both the header and the showcase inside the container. That's why you see them on top of each other. I kind of wanted the header to be on top of the showcase. And so what I'll do is I'll target the header, and I'll set its position to be absolute, and that's kind of move the header now on top of the showcase. And I'll also give a border so I'm able to see what it looks like. So 5 pixels solid white border, and then I'll be able to see the border. And then I can now kind of change things a little bit easy. So maybe I want to have it a width of 80%. Maybe from the left, maybe I want it to go 15% to the left. So something like that, kind of so it's at the center. Let's see. Yeah, okay, and so for the navigation bar, I think maybe I even need a logo. Let's see. Let me see if I can get icons 8 logo. Let's see. Virtual reality. Something simple, so maybe, I don't know, these don't look simple. I need something that's clear. Oh, that's cool. Maybe this. Would it match? Maybe, maybe not. I think I'll go, but that's like blockchain stuff. How about I just go with this, and then I'll just recolor it to be white, right-click, copy image address, and then go back to my HTML. And inside the header, not only will I have my unordered list, not only will I have my nav bar, but I'll also have a div, and I'll give it an ID logo, and then I'll just end it there. And then in CSS, I'll go ahead and give the logo by targeting it using a hashtag, because that's how I target IDs. And I'll give it a background property and set the URL, which is the value equal to that image, which is going to be super long because I recolored it. And then I'll make sure I'll give the width of 25 pixels, actually 50 pixels, and then a height of 50 pixels, and then background size, let's do cover, so it covers the entirety of its container, which in this case is a little container. And that really doesn't do much, so let me just delete it. Okay, so now there's a logo, but notice that now the logo and the navigation bar are actually on top of one another, and I don't want that. And so I can fix this actually by using this display flex concept, where I have like this flex container, and then anything inside the flex container are flex items. And so basically, if I know that my logo and my navigation bar are both inside the header, then I'm going to make the header my flex container. So I'll go ahead and target the header, and I'll just set the display to flex. And by doing that, flex has this property called flex direction, and it's actually by default set to row. And so it turns basically, or it actually moves all of the flex items, right, which are inside the flex container, in this case it's the header, to be all in one row, so next to each other. But if I want the opposite, I can do column, and then it'll be on it like a column, it'll be on top of each other. But by default, it's set to row, so notice that it'll change to row, but if I delete this, it won't change anything, because again, by default, it's set to row. But then here's another problem. I want my links to be all the way towards the end, and so I can do this by using the justify content property and set this equal to space in between, and that's going to put space in between both the logo and the navigation bar, which is super cool, if I can just spell it right. So justify content. Okay, and it's going to move the navigation bar all the way to the right. So, but here's another problem. I have all the navigation bars let me repeat myself. I have all of the list items, or the links, basically all on top of each other as well. And so I can do the same thing. I can apply the same concept. If I know that all of the links, so let me look at the HTML. If I know that all of the links are inside a list item, and all of these list items are inside the UL, then I'm going to target the unordered list, the UL, and make that a display flex, so that anything inside can be can have the flux direction of rows, so they'll all be next to each other. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I'll do navbar unordered list because it's inside the navigation bar, and I'll set this display to flex, and now they should move right next to each other. And then I can also set a gap 1em, which is actually only a flex property. If you're going to use grid, you can use a grid gap. Alright, and then that's good. If I want to remove the bullet points, then I can target navbar unordered list item because that's a list style value, and just set that to none because currently has a bullet points. If I want to remove the underline that it has, that's an actual A value, so I'll have to do navbar unordered list item A and set the text decoration to none. If I want to change the color, then I have to do color white, but it has to be within the A tag. If I were to just change the, let's say, everything inside the nav bar to be white, it wouldn't work because the color of the text of the link itself is an actual A tag property, right? So I have to make sure that I target the A tag and set that color to white. But here's another problem. I noticed that all the links are at the top, but I want them to be at the bottom. But here's the thing. The reason, let me actually just give it a border so I'm able to see it. So I'll do navbar border 5 pixels solid white. So here it is, right? All I have to do is set the nav bar, give it a display of flex, right? And then I can just move it down. So I can do align items center, because align items is the property that allows you to center it, if it's set at center, to center it vertically, while justify content, if you set that to center, it centers it horizontally. Alright, so that works out that way. I can also give it a width of, let's say, 50, maybe 80% of its container, which in this case is the header. And then at this point, I want them to be moved all the way to the right within the navigation bar. So I'll do justify content and set that to end, so that it moves all the way towards the end. If I could spell justify. I can never spell anything. Alright, and that does that basically. And then I could also, to make things easier, because I'm going to have another link, I can just give each link a class of links so that I can target the same properties. Or I can give them the same styles. So I'll do that, and then I'll also give this one a class of link as well, but then I'll give it an ID of BTN because it's going to be slightly different, so I can target it individually. Alright, and then let's see. So I can target it here. So now instead of doing this, I could just do dot link, and it'll be the same thing. And then let me give it a background right now. Maybe I'll do, let's see, what should I do? I could do a background of, maybe I don't want to do a background. Let's not do a background. I'll just go in Google Fonts and give it a Lato font. I think I already have it here. So just search up Lato, add the regular 400, and then go here to selected families, select the link, and then you go into your head tags, right? Because this is so that when I use the font properties in my CSS knows where this font is coming from. And that's because I put it in the head tag where it's kind of like all of the backend information, kind of. Alright, and then I can copy the font family rule and then go to CSS and then just paste that in here, and you'll notice that the links are changed now to a different type of font, which is really cool. Alright, and then let's see. I could also now work on the content itself. So dot content is inside the showcase, and basically I can change anything in here to the color of white. So that's going to do that. And then I'm also going to want to have this at the center. So I'll go to the showcase, which should be somewhere over here. I'll just kind of paste what I just wrote here so I can have it there. And what I'll do is I'll give this a display of flex because I want the content to be at its center. So I'll do display flex and then justify content center so that centers it horizontally, and then align items centers it vertically. And that's only because I set the showcase to have a height and width of 100%. If it didn't have a height or width, you wouldn't even be seeing the image, first of all, and second of all, you wouldn't actually be seeing honestly anything, because if you have a div that doesn't have a height, you're not going to see it. But yeah, that's the thing. And then the content itself, I would also want to have it a display of flex because I need the button to go to the center. So this is a perfect case of when I need to change the flex direction, and I can set that to column because I want that to be on top of each other, the title and the A tag. I mean the H1 and the A tag. And then I can go and do justify content center and center all of those things horizontally. Justify content center. Or justify content center. Interesting. Text align center. Oh, okay, that works too. Anyway, I would also want to target the dot content H1 and then give that a width of maybe 200 pixels, play around with that until, okay, that's good. And then obviously a font size way bigger than that. So 40 pixels, let's try that. Nope, that's not even good. 100 pixels? 90 pixels. And then change the width to be something much bigger, like 400. 500. Much better. And then let me see what that looks like here. Okay. Make fiction into reality. Or turn fiction into reality. I think that sounds a little bit more better. So turn fiction into reality. Alright, so let me save that, do that, turn fiction to reality, beautiful. Okay, so now for the button itself, which I gave an ID of BTN for button, I am going to give it a background for now of white, and then a padding of 10 pixels, 20 pixels, and I'll give it a width of, I don't know, what do I give it a width? Oh, that's why I wasn't working. 100 pixels? That's why it wasn't working. So now if I do justify content center, justify content center, why is it not working? Display flex, flex direction column, text align center, and then justify content center. It should move to the center unless, let me look at the border, 5 pixels, white solid. Huh. Justify content center. If the display is flex, then all the things inside should be in the center. The A tag also. Interesting. Okay, so then let me look at this and give it a border already. Although it has technically a border already. How weird. Okay, whatever. Justify content center. Border. Okay, and then I can also change the color of the link to be black so I could see it. And then where do I have, let's see, text align center. What in the world? This is so weird. Why is it all the way over here? I'm literally telling it to go all the way to the center. Okay, what else would be changing this? Border, 5 pixels, solid white. Okay, that's that. Let me just give everything a border at this point so I can see it. When in doubt, give everything a border. Okay. So then the BT, oh, figured it out. Okay, display flex and then justify content center. Justify. Or did not figure it out, that's great. Display flex, justify content center. What if I remove box sizing border box? Are you serious? Why does this happen to me? Let me think. What could be wrong? Justify content, it should be moving to the center, and it's not. So let's see. Justify content, center. If I do end, because the button itself, oh, whoops, I meant the bottom one. What's the bottom one? I need, Oh my god. Girl is confused. Oh, okay, I'm trying to figure out the top thing. Oh, it doesn't have anything because it's it's inside the container. So it needs to have a div on top, or at least inside. So in the link, I'll just do div class link box. And then I'll target the link box. Oh, there we go. See, it worked. Yay. But here's the thing though. Where is the display? So the content itself has a solid, let's do green so I can differentiate. Okay. And then have the header, and then maybe I can do from here, I can do margin bottom 20 pixels to have space between the button and the H1. And then I can make sure that the content box has a height of min content. So it's the minimum content that it could be. Let's see. And then the BTN can have a margin bottom of 20 pixels. But this won't work unless it doesn't have a border. This happened to me before. Anyway, okay, let me get rid of this and this and this. Okay, and then let me do this and then give it a font size of 20 pixels. Let me see what that looks like. Okay, turn fiction into reality, blah, blah, blah. And then what I'll do is I should fix the background position of the showcase. I need to be kind of more to the top. Let's try center first and see what that looks like. It doesn't change anything, so maybe start at the bottom. Literally because I set it to size, I meant position. Let's do center. That works a little bit better. Beautiful. Alright, and then let me go back to the header. So the header, I also want to go from the top, kind of maybe like 5, maybe 3%, so that there's space between the top and the header, kind of like that. And then I'll give the links also. Let's see, where are the links? I could do font size. Oops, what did I do? Are you serious? Okay, font size. Okay, that's not how you spell size. If you haven't noticed by now, I am a terrible speller. Oh my god, 20 pixels. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. Now I can see that nicely. And then I'll actually change what they say. So maybe this one could be home. The last one I always do contact. Let's do maybe pricing. And then maybe like create or something. Alright, and then what I'll do is I'll give the home a span tag, and I'll do like current so that when I'm currently in it, that's not a tag, it's a span tag. When I'm currently in home, it's going to have a border. So I'll do span, actually, ID current. So I'll do hashtag current, and then give it a border bottom of, let's say, 3 pixels, solid. What are you? Okay, white. Alright, and then maybe give the, let's do margin. I don't think I can have a margin top, can I, of a border? No, right? That doesn't make sense. So I'll have to go to the specific, let's see. I'll have to go into span, margin. Actually, no, I can just do, it's a link property. So maybe just do dot link, margin bottom 10 pixels. So there's space between the line and the actual link. It doesn't seem to be working. Interesting. So how about I do dot nav bar on list item A or list item. Oh, interesting. Now it has to be A, margin bottom 10 pixels. What if I did padding? Oh my god, sometimes things just don't work. That doesn't make sense. I literally did this a day ago. Or maybe 2 days ago, but still. Okay, so let's see. It works, but I also don't want it to be so on top of each other. So the home, let's see, where did I give a span tag? I gave a span tag to the home. Oh, no, I don't want that. Hold up. I should have done this, give this an ID of current, and then that would have worked. Let's see if I could hashtag current, and then what a weird thing. Oh my god. Okay, it's okay, we're gonna figure it out. Border bottom, and then margin bottom 10 pixels. Huh. .nav bar under list item. That doesn't make sense. And then it never works. Margin bottom never works when it comes to links for some odd reason. But then can I do margin? Oh, tell me how that works. It wants to do it left and right, but it doesn't want to do it top and bottom. All right, let's see. So that would be, all right, so it would be like a clock, so it would start from the top. So from its top, I want 0, then the right, I want 0, then the bottom, I want 10, and then left 0 pixels. Can you see how it doesn't work? Why? Just tell me why. Tell me why ain't nothing but a... I literally did this like 2 days ago. Anyway, whatever. So let's move on. I'll do dot link. So when I hover over a link, actually specifically when I hover over, well yeah, when I hover over those links, or maybe not, or maybe yes, I'll do that, and then I'll do a hashtag BTN hover. And then I'll maybe do like change the background to, I don't know, what's a D3, D3, D3? That's like a gray. So when I hover over it, turns like gray. Okay, for here, I would want it to have a border bottom. So I'll do border bottom, and then I'll do, what am I going to do? Border bottom, oh yeah, same thing, 2 pixels, solid white. You know what maybe would work if I set the... Perfect. If I set it to actually be VID instead of VA tag, then I believe that's going to work. If I could just do margin bottom 10 pixels now, because it's a list item. Or not. That's great. Tell me how that makes sense. 10 pixels for a list item. ID current. Oh, because I have an A tag. Whatever. Anyway. So let me look at what that looks like. Pricing, create, contact. Okay. And then, oops, I don't want there to be a border bottom. So let's see, border bottom, none for this one. Because same thing is applying because it has a link tag. I mean, a link class actually. All right. And then let me remove the borders of everything else. So the container. And then the header, and then the navigation bar, which should be somewhere over here. All right, let's see what we're left with. Okay, and the one thing I also would want to change, if I do this and I do this, oh, actually, it's fine, never mind. But either way, let me just add it. So for the UL, I'll also give it a flex wrap of wrap, just in case if the width of the UL gets too short, it can wrap like this, right? So it can wrap around each other, the links, which I think is pretty cool. Oh my god, notice, oh, wow, I'm finding use cases for everything. So notice if I shrink a lot, the image becomes smaller of the logo. So basically the amount of it that it can fit in that little 50 pixel by 50 pixels box, which is the logo div, is much more. And so now you can see it repeating. And so now that's a use case for the background size to be set as cover. So let me find the logo and set the background size to be cover. And then it should only show what is going on today. Hold on. What if I get rid of box sizing? Ever since I started using this, things have been going crazy. You see how it doesn't make sense? It's okay. We're going to figure it out. Okay, let me see. Let me go back. So background size, cover, but there's also something that I can do right here and just say no repeat. Beautiful. Now it doesn't repeat. Okay, that fixes that. Anyway, that was that. Okay, let me save. I also want to add a linear gradient so that it looks a little bit better. So for the showcase, where is it? Okay, I'll go up here and just do linear gradient and then comma. And then inside I'll do RGBA, comma, RGBA. And then inside I would do 3 0.77s and then 1 0.7. And then just copy those values into the second RGBA. And then, beautiful, but that's too dark. So let me kind of play around with the values. It's kind of the same, so let me do 0.4. Alright, something like that maybe. So turn fiction into reality. Nice. And then I could do something, let's see, what can I do? Oh yeah, change the button text. So I'll do create maybe. Create. I think that's fine. Turn fiction into reality. Maybe I can find a better font for that. Something that's like tech thing. Can I not? Okay, great. Tech. I need something techy. Let's see, what font would go with that? How about like something Python? Let's look. Ooh, this one. Source code. Oh, that's so funny. What a coincidence. Okay, I'm going to add the regular 400. Where is it? Regular 400. Oh, it's over here. Add that, and then now I can just, it's going to be added to the same link, so now I can just replace the one that I have in my head tag, and it's still going to have the Lato font, so I'll just paste that in there, and then I'm able to use that font family, specifically this one, and then I can just go to my CSS and go to the content and give it a font family of that, although I believe that, let's see, that's horrifying. The A tag I don't think would change the font family for that. What was I going to do? Oh, just change the width of the H1 to be something way bigger now. Turn fiction. I feel like that's hard to read. Maybe it was better when... Okay, never mind. Honestly, let me not use this. Let me get rid of that and leave it back to how it was. I think that's perfectly fine. Turn fiction into reality, create, let's see, what else can I do? Honestly, I think that's it. Just maybe move it a little bit more to the left. So, I mean, yeah, to the left. So I'll go ahead and take the header and just do maybe 12% and see what that looks like. I think that's a little bit better in the center. I just really need the little border bottom to have some space between, you know, the border bottom and the actual text. So that's really annoying me. So I'm going to figure that out. I'm just going to look at my notes. I literally did it the other day. So hold on. I did it day 385. So let me look at the code for that. So code, what did I do for, oh, that's, oh yeah, no, yeah, that's right, okay. See, there's spacing. Let me look for margin bottom. It literally doesn't give me anything. Okay, that's great. Border bottom. Oh, I gave it a padding. Oh, that makes sense. Right, okay. Okay, I'll do that then. So let's try that and see if that specifically works. So border bottom, none, but then for here, I would do padding bottom 10 pixels. There we go. Beautiful, but let me do something a little less like that. Kind of 3 pixels, see what that looks like. I think that's better. So padding bottom 3 pixels, and then I don't think that I would need this because it's the same thing. Oh, actually, yes, I do. That's for the, oh, then I can just do this, honestly. Hold on. Hashtag current, that's what I just did on the other one, I just saw it. Basically what this says is for the links and for only when the links are hovered and for the element that has an ID of current, do this, right? Set a border bottom to be 2 pixels. But then notice that because I don't have the padding bottom over here, it's not applying to the link.hover, the padding like between the pricing and the text and the border bottom. It's like it's not there. Rather, you see here that there is padding. So I'll just go ahead and copy that and paste that right in here. And then I can delete this. And now it's going to be the same. Beautiful. Okay, thank God I fixed that. Alright, so that's that. Maybe I can do some spacing in between. I'm like nitpicking now, but yeah. I can go ahead and target, let's see, the list items. The gap is what controls gap there, so that's a little bit better. Okay, turn fiction into reality, logo we have, and then this is fine. Okay, that's fine. I think that's okay. And then you can see that it's fairly responsive. Kind of. Yes, right? Maybe so. I think so. Alright, that's good for today, for something simple. Okay, let's just go now. Okay, bye.